I'm going to share with you 3 things I learned about growing orchids and what I wish I had known before starting to grow my orchid collection. So let's begin. Hi, I'm Jess. Welcome to Attainable Green. Today we're going to be talking about 3 things I wish I'd known before getting an orchid collection. Now today we have Mocha over here. She's kind of joining me as we're going to go through these 3 points together. So we're just going to dive right in, and we're going to start with the first point, which is location, location, location. So when you're growing orchids, the best thing to know is that you need to have a good location and a good environment to grow your orchids. Most advice about growing orchids tend to tell you to put the orchid near a nice sunny window. And beyond that, it's pretty vague about how you go about doing that. But selecting the right location is very important, because if the plant gets everything it needs, it gets the right environment, then I think it will be much better for it to survive. I learned this the hard way, and basically what happened was I put the orchid in a windowless bathroom, and I thought, oh, it's kind of shady and it doesn't really need that much light, so a bathroom is totally fine for it. And it didn't get enough light, and it actually did not help the orchid survive. So instead, I have learned to put my plants in a more strategic location. And the most beneficial places have been on the west side of my house that gets the most afternoon light, and also in the outdoor area. Those tend to be the best places for my plants, and that's kind of where I keep them. There are a few that do well on my east-facing windowsill that gets nice, gentle morning light, but on the whole, I think they do much better with kind of a stronger light intensity. If you have the option to add growing lights, then having a nice LED setup can really benefit your plants as well. So under my LED setup, I have a couple of plants and some carnivorous plants and just like some seedlings that I'm growing. So that place has not been fully utilized, but I'll share with you a little bit about that too. Having a good location for your orchids really sets you up for success. Once you have a good environment for your plants, then it's much easier for it to grow. Not only is the actual spot or position of the plant important, but also the environment as well. You want to be able to check the corresponding temperatures in addition to the light levels to make sure that it's suitable for growing orchids. So some things to look out for when you're choosing a place. You want to make sure that it's away from a radiator, it's not in direct contact with a draft or anything like that. You may have an open window, which is fine, but you just make sure that you know what the temperature fluctuation will be around those places. Not only that, you want to make sure that there's good airflow. You might want to keep a window open just to make sure that air is circulating so that you don't get a lot of pests or any other problems associated with stagnant air. Now, the second point is to be patient. This is probably one of the hardest things to do because we are so used to having things move on a faster pace. And with growing orchids, they are one of the slowest growers. If you see some tropical plants and you think, oh, if it grows just 1 leaf a year, then it will be success. Orchids are kind of like the same way. And not only that, it may not bloom every year successively, so you might have to wait even longer. Also, if you have an immature plant, you buy it as a seedling, or it's a very small plant, it takes several years for it to grow before it's large enough to bloom. And that definitely takes a lot of patience. When it comes to growing an orchid collection, it may seem like it's easier to just buy more plants so that you have more plants in different stages so that you can enjoy the flowers more. But conversely, when you have that, it may become so overwhelming that it might be hard to take care of all these different plants. So I would say to go slow, be patient, and try to find early success with 1 or 2 plants first before buying a whole collection of like 50 plants. I know I kind of went into that journey when I first started. I was so excited about learning about orchids that I bought a whole ton of plants. And I had no idea how to take care of them, and a lot of them died, unfortunately. So that was a really hard lesson to learn, and I'm telling you this now so that hopefully you avoid the problems that I have. The third lesson is consistency. So it's really good to be consistent about growing your plants. Regular waterings, fertilizing, maintenance. Just as long as you have a regular schedule, I think it'll benefit your plants a lot more. When it comes to certain orchids, there is a little bit of neglect that is allowed, where it seems like they grow so slow, you don't have to do much about them, and you kind of forget that they're there. But the truth is if you neglect them for so long, you might not see problems as they come, and then once you notice them, you'll realize that it's a much bigger problem that you have realized. I noticed that problem where I had maybe like one mealybug or, scale or something really small, and I was like, oh, I'll take care of that later. But then weeks or months go by, and then when I come back later, I realize that not only has the problem spread to the entire plant, like it's covered in mealybugs or covered in scale, it has spread to other parts of the plant or to other plants in my collection, which is definitely not something that you want to happen. So if you see a problem, try to address it immediately, because the longer you wait, the worse it gets, and it just never ends well if you don't have kind of a regular maintenance schedule. So here are some bonus tips. I want you to enjoy your orchid collection. This should be a nice hobby that is relaxing, that you find a lot of pleasure in, and not something that causes a headache. So I really want you to enjoy your plants, enjoy the flowers, and be able to take care of them well. There's always something to be learned. So if you can keep an open mind and be willing to learn and be willing to grow and change up your setups, if something's not working, be willing to try something new or ask other people. There's a huge amount of resources available about growing orchids these days that it's fairly easy to look up what you want to figure out. But the other thing is sometimes there's so much information, it can be overwhelming. So I hope that you will continue following me on this journey to learn a little bit more about growing orchids and kind of take out all the mystery or the influx of information and kind of narrow it down to kind of these core things that will really improve and help you on your orchid growing journey. So if you have any tips that have really helped you grow and things that you wish you knew before starting your orchid journey or growing an orchid collection, please let me know in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye!